Picture this. It's a Tuesday evening, you're at the kitchen sink. You turn on the faucet to rinse a couple of plates, and the water just sits there. It pools around the drain, stubbornly refuses to go down, and starts creeping up the sides of the basin. You let out a heavy sigh, open the cabinet underneath, and grab that familiar, bright-colored plastic bottle. You know the one. It costs around $7, and you probably bought half a dozen of them since you moved in. Every sink time, it clears things up for a few weeks, then the sink slows down, backs up again, and you're making yet another run to the hardware store. Let me shoot straight with you, right out of the gate. There is a $4 box of natural mineral powder sitting on the cleaning aisle of virtually every grocery store in the country. It does the exact same job as that harsh liquid, costs a fraction of the price, causes absolute zero damage to your plumbing. And if you use it as a quick month maintenance trick, stops clogs from ever forming in the first place. This mineral has been mined and sold right here in the States since the mid-1800s, and it's been commercially produced for over a century. My grandmother kept a box of it on her pantry shelf for 6 solid decades. She used it for laundry, scrubbing, degreasing heavy pots, and keeping the plumbing running perfectly. That chemical bottle never sat under her sink because she simply never needed it. I'm a farmer living a traditional off-grid lifestyle, and today I'm going to walk you through the actual chemistry of how those store-bought drain cleaners work, and exactly why they wreck your pipes in the process. Then, I'll show you the $2 mineral that pulls off the exact same chemical reaction safely. We'll cover the classic farmhouse recipe for clear drains, a heavy-duty variation for when you've got standing water, and a 30-second monthly routine that guarantees you'll never face a major backup again. By the time this video ends, you'll be leaving those harsh chemical bottles on the shelf for good. Real quick, there's way more to these old-school household methods than I can fit into a single video. I actually put all of them together in a book available on my website. That's the deep dive if you're interested, but I won't bring it up again here. Let's break down the plain chemistry inside those bright neon bottles. They usually rely on 3 active ingredients. First is sodium hydroxide, commonly known as lye. This is the heavy hitter. Lyrox A-P-A-4-4, which is the absolute alkalinity on the scale. Yeah, brooding. Tears apart the molecular bonds of gases and organic gunk through a process called alkaline hydrolysis. Second, you've got sodium hypochlorite, which is just standard household bleach. This acts as a disinfectant and helps dissolve softer organic mush. Third, and this is the part most people don't realize, are aluminum flakes. When lye mixes with aluminum and water, it sparks a rapid, violent chemical reaction. It generates hydrogen gas and pumps out an intense amount of heat straight in your drain pipe. The temperature spikes aggressively. That heat isn't an accident. It's purposely designed to melt the congealed fat stuck to your pipe walls. The heat definitely melts the grease, but it also absolutely wrecks your plumbing. Professional plumbers nationwide verify this all the time. Using lye-based cleaners repeatedly causes documented severe damage to residential pipes. Standard PVC, that white plastic tubing under most modern sinks, literally starts to warp and degrade under that intense, sustained heat. The joints loosen up. The macroscopic seals between sections get destroyed. It doesn't happen the first time you use it, but after 5, 8, 10 times, that cumulative damage is a massive problem. If your house was built before 9980, you're probably dealing with cast iron or galvanized steel. These harsh cleaners destroy those lines too. Acidic versions eat away the iron directly, while alkaline versions speed up rust and scaling, slowly choking off the pipe's diameter over time. Either way, the long-term cost is real plumbing damage that requires a real professional to fix. Plumbing trade associations have officially recommended against using these lye-based liquids for over 20 years. It's no secret. It's written in their trade journals, training manuals, and safety guides. Yet that industry still pulls in hundreds of millions of dollars every single year because when people are stressed out by a flooded sink, they just grab whatever looks strong on the shelf and trust the label. There's also the issue of toxic fumes. When the bleach in those cleaners mixes with any Flavor House product sitting in your drain like vinegar, ammonia, or a different brand of cleaner, it creates chlorine gas. Sure, it's usually a low concentration, but it's getting trapped inside that closed cabinet under your sink with zero airflow every single time you pour it down. Real cleaning power, real pipe damage, real toxic gas, and a real recurring drain on your wallet. That's an honest look at what you're actually buying. Before I show you the mineral alternative, we need to talk about what a log actually is. There are two main types, and they need different chemical reactions to break them apart. Grease clogs are essentially chains of fatty acids from cooking oils, skin oils, and soap scum. They cool down inside the pipes and stick to the walls. Over time, that greasy layer builds up until water just can't get through. The chemical process to melt grease is called saponification. Basically, a strong alkaline base turns those fatty acids into a water-soluble soap. The grease literally becomes soap and washes right down the line. Hair clogs are different. They're made of protein, specifically keratin, the exact same stuff that makes up your fingernails. Hair catch on lit jagged edges in the pipe, tangles up, and traps everything else passing by. Breaking that down requires protein hydrolysis. A high enough alkaline pH rips apart the molecular bonds holding that keratin together, literally dissolving the hair. Both of these clogs melt away under high alkaline conditions. That's why the pH 44 lie in store. Bought Cleaners works. But here is the critical piece of the puzzle. You absolutely do not need a pH of 44 to make those reactions happen. You just need an alkalinity high enough to saponify grease and break down keratin. That magic fate of 1. Anything between 1 and 44 gets the job done, and a pH of 1 is gentle enough to leave your pipes completely unharmed. Enter the $2 mineral, sodium carbonate. You'll usually see it labeled as washing soda. The chemical formula is the chemical formula on Americrostor tree, and it's been city on Ameritate 40s. Washing soda sits right at a pH of 4. It's highly alkaline enough to turn grease into soap and strong enough to dissolve hair, but is not harsh enough to eat through PVC, copper, cast iron, or any other standard plumbing material. It's extracted right here in the US from massive, naturally occurring sedimentary deposits of trona ore that date back tens of thousands of years. Major household brands have packaged this stuff for generations. The exact same box, with just a few minor design updates, has been an American staple for over a century. Listen closely, because this is the single biggest mistake people make. Baking soda is sodium bicarbonate, which has a much lower pH of 8.3. They look exactly alike on the shelf. The boxes are nearly identical. But baking soda is simply not alkaline enough to break down grease or dissolve hair. That's why those viral DIY drain cleaner hacks that just use baking soda are a total bust. People try it, nothing happens, and they go right back to buying the harsh chemicals. Washing soda is the heavy lifter. Baking soda plays a backup role in our recipe, but the sodium carbonate is what actually does the real work. Always check the label for washing soda. Quick pause before we get to recipe. Every household bleeds money in small ways: food, utilities, laundry, repairs, and waste. Inside our traditional home savings community, we focus on tracking down those financial leaks and plugging them up one by one. There's a link down in the description if you want to check it out. Let's get into the recipe, the application methods, and an honest look at exactly what this can and cannot do. Here's what you need for the dry clog powder. This will run you under $10 and gives you about 50 treatments. Grab 1.5 ounce of super washing soda, which is about $5 at a grocery store. pick up a 2-pound bag of standard baking soda for around $3 or $4. Finally, grab a bag of coarse pickling or kosher salt for $1 or $2. You'll also need a clean glass mason jar with a lid for storage. That breaks down to roughly 20 cents per application. The recipe is simple: half a cup of washing soda, half a cup of baking soda, and a 1/4 cup of coarse salt. Dump all the dry ingredients into your glass jar, shake it up to mix, seal it tight, and throw it under the sink. It never spires, it doesn't lose its potency, and there are 0 spoilage concerns. It'll sit there ready to go for 2, 5, or 10 years if you need it to. If you have a slow, draining kitchen sink, bathroom sink, or shower, use the standard method. First, scoop out any standing water pooling around the drain with a cup. The dry powder needs direct contact with the grime inside the pipe, not floating top of a puddle. Dump half a cup of your dry powder mix directly down the drain opening. Do not run the faucet. Next, take a kettle of boiling water and slow pour exactly 1 cup over the powder. The heat kick starts the alkaline reaction. You'll hear a slight fizzing and see a few bubbles. That's the powder dissolving and coating the walls of your pipes. Now, step away and leave it totally undisturbed for at least 20 minutes. No running water during this time. The solution needs uninterrupted contact to work on that grease and hair. If it's a really stubborn, slow clog, give it 30 or 40 minutes. Finally, grab the rest of your boiling kettle and flush the entire thing down the drain. That washes away the dissolved soap, the broken down hair, and any leftover powder. Your sink should be flowing perfectly. If it's still a little sluggish, just run the whole process one more time. But what if the sink is completely blocked and the water won't move at all? For that, we use the standing water method. First, bail out as much water as humanly possible from around the drain. Again, we need the powder touching the blockage. Pour your half cup of dry powder straight down the drain. Here's the twist. Instead of water, pour a 1/4 cup of plain white distilled vinegar directly on the powder. This triggers a potent acid-base reaction with the baking soda, releasing carbon dioxide gas. It's going to fizz aggressively. That rapidly expanding gas pressure physically fractures the structure of the clog from the inside out. Simultaneously, the washing soda dissolved in the vinegar is chemically eating away the grease and hair. You're hitting the blockage with fizzle pressure and chemical breakdown at the same time. It's the exact same principle used in industrial pipe descaling. Let it sit for 30 minutes, then flush it out with a full kettle of boiling water. A second round will usually clear out even a fully blocked drain. I want to be totally transparent about the limitation here, because the credibility of these methods depends on honest scope. This routine is incredible for maintenance issues: cooking grease, hair mats, soap scum, food bits, and the everyday slow drains that account for 90% of the reasons people reach for a commercial bottle. What it will not do is fix severe physical obstructions. It won't dissolve a kid's toy, a piece of jewelry, a wad of paper, tree roots growing into your sewer main, a collapsed pipe, or industrial-level grease deposits from years of total neglect. For those situations, you need to hire a professional plumber. No DIY powder, and frankly no store-bought liquid cleaner either, is going to handle those problems. If you run this washing soda trick twice on the same drain and it hasn't cleared the blockage, call a pro. Do not escalate the situation by pouring harsh chemicals on top of it. Having lye sitting in stagnant water just destroys your pipe for hours while fixing absolutely nothing. Now for the most valuable part of this entire system, the monthly routine that ensures you never deal with a backed-up sink again. On the first Saturday of every month, take a 1/4 cup of your dry powder and drop it down every sink drain in your house, kitchen, both bathrooms, showers, tubs, and the laundry drain. Chase each one with a cup of hot water straight from the tap. Not boiling, just hot. Give it 10 minutes to work. Then flush the lines with hot tap water. That 30-second routine per drain actively strips away the thin layer of grease and soap film before it ever has a chance to build up in a real clog. Your lines stay pristine. No buildup, no slow drains, no standing water emergencies. A base service call for a plumber to snake a drain will easily run you in 50 and tune 50s. With this monthly habit, that call never happens. The math compound quickly. You're easily saving somewhere between 100 and 300 a year, depending on your specific plumbing. Maintenance. She's just a small handful of washing soda down the drains on the first Saturday of the month. First Saturday of the month ran the hot water and with her chores. The drain stayed clear and the plumber visit never came. That one cheap box has a ton of other household uses too. I'll make dedicated videos on the best ones later, but here's a quick rundown. It destroys those crusty white hard water stains on shower glass and chrome fixtures that normal sprays won't touch. Just mix it with warm water to make a paste, wipe it on, wait 3 minutes and wipe it clean. It's the primary base ingredient in old school homemade laundry detergent. Mixing it with some grated bar soap and borax gets you a complete laundry powder for about 10 cents a load instead of the crazy commercial prices. Got a burnt, greasy roasting pan, sprinkle powder directly on the surface, add hot water, let it soak overnight, and the grime scrubs right off in the morning. You can even use a heavier dose mixed with extra salt to clear out leaf sludge and algae from outdoor patio drains without dragging out the pressure washer. It even works on fresh driveway oil stains. Sprinkle it on dry, wet it slightly, let it sit overnight, and sweep it up the next day. The oil lifts right out of the concrete. One natural mineral, endless applications from the exact same $5 box. Think about everything we just walked through. Store-bought liquids that rely on extreme pipe, warping chemicals like lye and bleach just to work fast. But the actual chemistry of saponifications happens at a much lower, safer pH level. For a few bucks, you can grab a natural mineral that delivers that exact right alkalinity. You mix it with some baking soda and salt, and you've got a powerhouse solution for slow drains, fully blocked sinks, and effortless preventative maintenance. And the science backs up every single step of it. The financial math is a no-brainer. If a household buys a bottle of cleaner every couple months, they're dropping around 45 bucks a year just on chemicals. Add in the eventual repair bills when the pipes get damaged by those very products, and you're looking at hundreds of dollars out the window. 10 bucks gets you a massive supply of this natural powder that will easily handle 2 solid years of maintenance. The cleaning product industry has absolute zero financial incentive to teach you that a cheap mineral powder does a better job than their premium, heavily marketed liquids. There is massive profit in selling families a recurring product that slow damages their homes, guaranteeing they'll have to spend more money later. So, here is your homework for the week. Take a drive to the grocery store and pick up a box of super washing soda, a bag of baking soda, and a bag of coarse salt. Mix up the recipe in a jar and stick it under your sink. This weekend, if you've got a sluggish drain anywhere in the house, hit it with the standard method. Half a cup of powder, 1 cup of boiling water, wait 2 minutes and flush it out. Watch what happens. Then step up to the monthly routine. On the first Saturday, the answer, a quarter cup down every month, bulk up by hot water. You will never bring another orange bottle into your home again. Jump down in the comments and let me know what is the absolute worst plumbing nightmare you've ever had to deal with and how much did it end up costing you to fix. Also, if your family had their own old school tricks for keeping the house running, drop those below too. Whether it's the metal coat, hanger trick, or the boiling water and dish soap method, share those memories. Those little pieces of inherited generational knowledge disappear forever when we don't write them down. And I read every single comment. Next time, I'm going to show you exactly how to take this same box of washing soda and turn it in that heavy-duty homemade laundry detergent I mentioned. We're talking cents a load instead of 80 cents a store. 80 cents at the store. Breakdown and the cost savings. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Until then, grab the supplies, mix up a batch, and start that monthly routine. A simple, affordable mineral has been sitting on the grocery store shelf for generations, quietly waiting to do the job better, cheaper, and safer. It's how cow folks kept their homes running beautifully long before the modern commercial cleaning aisle even existed. And it's how it is still done in any house that remembers.